Here's another thing you need to know. Absolutely key for the much feared topic called incomplete records. Now, for this, you must visualize being given almost like a little shoebox of little pieces of paper, invoices, and so on. So the sole trader has kept incomplete records because he or she has been involved with running the business. So if you know anyone who runs a business, you'll see that running the business and getting custom and making sales is a huge effort, takes up a lot of time. On top of that, they've got to keep accounting records, and of course that takes another huge amount of a person's time. So what tends to happen is these business folk might present to you, the accountant, just a little box with a few pieces of paper. So the way to go about sorting it out, there's a little secret, you see. If you start with your opening capital, which is simply assets minus liabilities at the end of last year, and that comes forward to the start of this year, and you do the same kind of thing at the end of this year, would you agree the difference between the opening and the closing capital must represent your profit and your drawing? So the format you need to worry about is something like this. Let us say that your opening capital is $100,000 plus your profit. At this point, I don't know what it is. Leave a line, minus your drawings, money withdrawn by this proprietor, maybe say $12,000, $1,000 a month. And if the question gives you the closing balance, or you can work it out as, say, 150. Obviously, if you work backwards like that, if you take 150, take away 12, obviously, here, if you're working backwards, you add it up to 162. So the profit that the company would have made was 62,000. So very much a balancing figure. You start with opening capital, you add the profit of 62,000, so it becomes 162. Obviously, you take away drawings, and so you come to 150. So if the examiner gives you this, and this, and this, you can work this out. So obviously, if you're working backwards like that, do work forwards as well to make sure you're on the right tracks. So 100,000 plus 62 looks like 162. Minus drawings of 12 gives you 150. So if you are working backwards, as I suggest, do check to make sure instead of deducting, you add, like, for example, the 150 plus 12, that's 162. And then to get the 62, you take the 100 away from the 162. So that is a secret little technique with incomplete records. The other one, of course, is where you have percentages. If the examiner says to you it's 20% on cost, make the cost 100. 20% on that is 20, the profit, and so the selling price is 120% of cost. If, however, she says that it is 20% on selling price, make the selling price 100. So if you have selling price 100 percentage points and the profit is 20, the cost obviously is 80. So do be careful. Whatever the percentage is based on, make that 100. So those are two absolutely key points if you're doing incomplete records. One of the more feared topics in F3. Nothing to be afraid of.